At Swim Two Birds is a 1939 novel by the Irish writer Flann O'Brien. Flann O'Brien was a pseudonym, one of many the author adopted in the course of his life, but for the purposes of this short video, we'll stick with it. His real name was Brian O'Nolan. Born in 1911 in what's now Northern Ireland, O'Brien was raised by staunchly nationalist parents who moved the family to Dublin in 1922. He entered University College Dublin when he was 18 and began writing pieces for the institution's literary journal, as well as several pseudonymous letters criticising those pieces. Apparently, the latter helped him hone his self-editing skills. In 1935, he gained an MA with a thesis on nature in Irish literature, after which he entered the civil service. His father died in 1937, and he helped provide for the rest of his family. He had 11 brothers and sisters. He married in 1948, and he died in 1966 at the age of just 54. At Swim Two Birds was published at the recommendation of Graham Greene. Although some of the early reviews dismissed it as a Joycean parody, James Joyce himself hailed it as the work of a real writer with the true comic spirit. Dylan Thomas was equally enthusiastic. This is just the book to give your sister, he wrote, if she's a loud, dirty, boozy girl. In fact, it only came to be recognised as a work of genius after its republication in 1960. It's undoubtedly a modernist work, but some have described it as postmodern, on the grounds that it's partly about the process and possibility of novel writing itself, and that it uses techniques such as metafiction and pastiche. The unnamed protagonist lives with his uncle, a kind-hearted worrier who dislikes laziness, is sceptical about his nephew's habits and prospects, but who does his best to help. The nephew is writing a novel about a person writing a novel, into which elements of Irish mythology continually intrude, and whose characters eventually rebel, putting the protagonist's fictional novelist on trial. Along the way, we get demons, an invisible good fairy, two of the great heroes of Celtic mythology, a talking cow, and Jem Casey, to whom not a poet in the world can hold a candle. It's incredibly funny, and in its realistic scenes, it's entirely plausible. It's rare for humour not to date, but this hasn't. Most novels take their titles from themes internal to their own narratives, but as far as I can tell, the term "At Swim Two Birds" only occurs once in this book, and if you blink, you'll probably miss it. It refers to the place where Sweeney, one of the great heroes of Irish mythology, although here he's far more fallible, alights by the side of the Shannon. What makes At Swim Two Birds great is not just that it combines exceptionally good writing and a vivid imagination, but that it has a real feel for people and the way they speak to each other. The author's voice is friendly, and it draws the reader in from the outset. It's far more diffident than a lot of modernist literature. Modernists often feel duty-bound to put everything in, but At Swim Two Birds is a PG certificate from beginning to end. In 2019, Time magazine included it in its list of 100 of the best novels of the last century. The Guardian went one better. It was one of the 100 best English-language novels of all time. In summary, I'm happy to concur.